All right, wonderful. Well, we are 2 minutes after the top of the hour, and we have almost 80 people with us. So we have started recording this meeting so that any of our colleagues who can't attend live with us can receive the recording and the slide deck after the fact. So we'll go ahead and just get started. Thank you everyone for taking your time to be here. We have an hour chock full of excellent updates for you. So we'll just dig right in. The first thing that I wanted to let you all know is that if you have questions, we highly encourage questions. Please ask questions. Go ahead and use the Zoom webinar Q&A feature to submit those questions. Another thing you can do is upvote a question. If you see a colleague has asked a question that you also had at top of mind, you can click the thumbs up icon to upvote that question. That way, Steve will know that there was multiple interest with that particular question. We can make sure we get it answered live. All right, so the next thing that we have some updates here with news you can use. Remember that the intranet site is updated, I don't want to say daily, but I feel like it's daily. There's always great information being posted there to memorialize news that's going on in the department, different happenings, and other updates. As well as campus information. Please remember that you can go to the transportation.ucla.edu website here where my cursor indicates to see E&T operational updates and kind of get a feel for what's going on that side of the house. And then two other items here for you. The E&T News Bulletin. This is released via email, typically every Tuesday and Thursday. We want to call your attention to that and just make sure you guys are seeing it, reading it, and getting the information from that. And here is a little icon of what that the most recent release looks like. And then also we have the E&T 5-minute brief. So this is released twice a month, again, via email with the intention of managers and supervisors reading it out loud to their staff members, particularly so that we can make sure our operational and frontline staff members have all the information that they need to know. And then without further ado, I will pass over our meeting to Lisa Korbling for her updates. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Gina. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot to cover today, but I'm going to start with some of the happy things, and that is welcoming new employees. Except my computer doesn't want to change screens. Don't you love how this works? There we go. Our first new employee is a Bruin Bus transit operator from Fleet and Transit, Daniel Burbridge. Next, we have Sandra Canela, a paratransit van operator, also from Fleet and Transit. Tiana Chan, who is our new data analyst in the Finance Systems and Analytics team. Emily Serda, who's our new administrative assistant with Commuter and Parking Services, working with the Bruin Commuter Programs team. Michael Flanagan, who is a new paratransit van operator. Mary Jimenez, who is another paratransit van operator. David Knowles, another paratransit van operator. Vicky Navarro, another paratransit van operator. Alexandra Newport, who is the CMPS analyst for Commuter and Parking Services, also working in the Bruin Commuter Programs area. Christopher Rodriguez, a new parking supervisor with Commuter and Parking Services. Michael Williams, another new Bruin Bus Transit operator with Fleet and Transit. And that's it for our new employees. Welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoy working with us. We're a pretty nice group of people. Which brings us to the next celebration. On Monday, we did celebrate several milestone years of service, and we're going to honor them once more. With 10 years of service, we have Ella Crowell. She's in the events office, and Diego Dijaro, who is with Bruin Commuter Programs. With 15 years of service, we have Gio Barrientos with the Parking Assets team, Luana Dansby, who's a transit bus operator with Fleet and Transit, Jaime Lujan Jr., who's in technical operations, and Carol Rees in Bruin Commuter Services. And last but not least, we are honoring two people with 25 years of service. The first is Kimberly Jimenez, also known as Kimberly Villarreal, who works in central administration. And the second is Dan Wen, who works in the finance and systems team. Again, thank everybody for all of your dedicated years to UCLA and to events and transportation. We couldn't make it without you. And speaking of thanks, I have one more. I want to thank everyone who helped with Move In. This was another one of our events where we really asked people to pitch in outside of their normal work, and everyone stepped forward and I think had fun. So thank you again for all your hard work. We really appreciate you taking the time to help out with this very crucial campus event. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Gina Romero and Steve Wang, who are going to talk about work environment survey and our action planning to make the environment better. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lisa. Okay, great. Okay. All right, wonderful. So hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm going to talk about the work environment survey and some themes that came out specifically as they pertain to events and transportation. So we all know that in spring, the WES came out, and then after that, we did some additional deeper dives into some themes that are really meaningful and poignant to our department. So from just first of all, before I go into the what, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who conducted those sessions and to everybody who participated in those sessions. We got some great information from them, and now we're happy to share that with you. So we found 6 success themes, things that are working well for our staff. And we found 6 areas where we can improve upon things. So I'll share that with you. And then after myself, Steve will come on and talk about what we're doing. The planning and the action items have already begun. So that's exciting. All right. So first up here, in terms of success themes, we have 6 major categories here: employee engagement, getting results, pay and performance, leadership, communication, as well as resources and tools. And I will just briefly cover some generalities in each of these. What we found in terms of employee engagement, your top left orange box, was that people are loving the celebrations, the winter parties, the summer employee event with the barbecue and games. As well, people enjoy pizza parties and any thank you really given in various ways. We heard a lot of that, my manager will write a note, or my manager will send an email, or my manager will just give a verbal thank you right on the spot. And that's great. So we know to keep that up. In terms of getting results, the next box over, the gray, people are really liking that processes are being improved. There's a focus on that, and that way that makes their day job a little easier when there's less steps and less red tape. As well, people mentioned that they like the use of technology within the department to help make jobs easier. Next up, pay and performance. People were happy with the pay increase corresponding with the new fiscal year, and time again, we heard commentary that our employees are loving the Extra Mile Awards and the Star Awards. And just a little note on the Extra Mile Awards is that each employee can receive up to 3 $75 gift cards per calendar year. So that's an excellent incentive that we can use to reward great performance. The next is leadership, bottom left-hand corner in the light blue. Again, employees just really acknowledged that they're appreciative when managers and supervisors take the time to celebrate successes and say thank you. Also, they notice when they feel that managers are empathizing with them and making sure that they have everything they need to be successful, and they feel supported. So that's great. With communication, this was a mixed bag. In terms of things that are going well, people that are reading the E&T news bulletins and the 5-minute briefs, they appreciate that, as well as these all-staff meetings. And then in terms of resources and tools, that final box in the bottom right-hand corner, people really appreciate the teleworking and laptops, so that's great. Again, technologies such as DocuSign, and then the newly launched tag along program for the department. All right, so next I'll move us into things that we that are improvement things that we are working on and will be working on. Okay, so there's a lot of verbiage on this slide, but within each theme, these are the same 6 themes as on the previous slide. I'll kind of give a color commentary to the general nature that each box is referring to. So with the orange box, employee engagement, here, this one really speaks to employees' perception on their use of time. So if if they're working on site or from home, if their time is being stretched too thin, things like that. So this gave us some great things to be focused on and be working on. And again, Steve will talk to you more about that in a moment. In terms of the gray box, getting results, really the biggest kind of theme, if you will, to generalize this is about meetings and the results orientation, as well as annual strategic initiatives, so that people in our department can all be unified under the same goal and vision and mission of the department. And so we're going to be doing more work on that as well. Pay and performance. I don't want to steal Steve's thunder, but I am happy that we've already started to make great progress here. People want to see that concept of the loyalty tax for long-term staff members addressed, as well as different elements relating to pay, fair market wage, and then performance and results. Next up in the light blue box for leadership, this really has to do a lot with the why behind the work that we're asked to perform. So irrespective of your functional role or the functional role that you have, people were saying that they'd like to know a little bit more from their leadership. And then next, in terms of communication here, oh, and I do want to say one thing with this light blue box of leadership SOPs, it stands for standard operating procedures. When everyone started, well, not everyone, but lots of people started teleworking, we started leveraging technology, and then that was kind of like, a lot. Next up for communication. So this one, I think the biggest theme here is that communication is twofold. It goes 2 ways, right? So we're looking at the 5-minute brief as well as the E&T news bulletin and wanting to maybe revitalize that a little bit, but we also want to make sure that when it does get released and all that work goes into updates being provided, that members of staff and managers and supervisors are reading it. So that's kind of the 2-way street on that one. And then in terms of resources and tools, staffing is a big theme there, technology as well as equipment. So more to come there on that with regards to the bottom right-hand box. And so we're really grateful that everybody, was just courageously forthright with their thoughts and feelings on this. And so I'm really happy to turn it over to Steve and have him speak to you about some of the progress that we've made thus far in working on these things. So thank you, Steve.
All right, thanks for that update, Gina. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Wang, head of the Central Administration Support Unit. As you all just heard, the department is doing quite a few things right. However, there's still plenty of room for improvement. Now, we can't tackle everything all at once, but that's why a group of 20 E&T managers and project managers have been meeting to identify the highest priority issues and create action plans to address them. This group's been split into 4 smaller teams, each focusing on a different topic. So what I'm going to do now is give a quick preview of each of the groups. Please keep in mind that what you're about to see is they're not complete and finalized lists of potential solutions. This is more meant to give everyone a sense of what is potentially coming to E&T. The first team is addressing the very important topic of morale, specifically as it relates to on-site social events. This team will explore ways to fund these types of events, the creation perhaps of a social gatherings committee, and even specific events such as laughter yoga. Team 2 will be focusing on how managers can better support their employees and make it easier for employees to seek support. Possible solutions may include making time for non-work related discussions as teams are doing one-to-ones in order to strengthen relationships and build trust, and better recognizing staff achievements by personalizing the message and or increasing the usage of the recognition tools that already exist, such as the Kudos app or Extra Mile Awards. The third team will be working to ensure that staff understand the compensation equity process and that they are equitably compensated for the work they do in light of the reorganization of responsibilities that took place in some units due to COVID-era retirements and attrition. There's an opportunity here to document the compensation equity process, to increase transparency and service training, and to potentially improve the process based on employee feedback. The final team will be addressing something that became a hot topic and employee dissatisfier during the pandemic, and that is the subject of burnout due to the blurring of lines between work lives and personal lives. As Gina mentioned, technology enabled many of our employees to work from home either some or all of the time. However, it had the unintended consequence of keeping many of those employees tightly connected to each other even when they were done working for the day. The Team 4 will look into ways to minimize business communications outside of work hours and remove any pressure employees may feel to respond to such correspondences unless it's absolutely necessary. So, now I'll be handing off to one of the newer members of our central administration team, Yvonne Popica, who will be going over the open job positions at E&T. So please pay attention, as you never know when the next stepping stone in your career path might be right here at Events and Transportation, or perhaps you might know someone that would be a good fit for one of our positions. So Yvonne, take it away.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yvonne Popoca, and I work within Central Admin as an employee service generalist, and I work alongside Sarah. I transferred to E&T back in June, and prior to that, I worked with POC North for about 3 years. Now, moving along to job postings, we have the following: a senior planner within mobility planning and traffic systems. A senior planner serves as a technical position that manages the traffic signal systems and digital mapping on campus. A senior parking supervisor within assets. This position oversees the operations team. We have multiple positions available as a Bruin bus transit operator, serving in a full-time and part-time capacity within transit. This position is responsible for driving campus buses. A project analyst within the central admin team, serving as an assistant to the executive director. A fleet and motor pool analyst within fleet. This position is in charge of the day-to-day functions of the motor pool and its related analysis. A commuter and parking services director. An assistant director within fleet and transit. This position is in charge of the administration and maintenance section of the F&T area. And lastly, a commuter and parking services analyst within parking. This position is responsible for customer related management issues in the Bruin commuter programs. The link to apply to these job postings is noted on the screen as well for your reference. Now moving along to open enrollment. Open enrollment is approaching, and it's been announced that this year employees will have the opportunity to enroll for their 2023 benefits starting Thursday, October 27th and ending Friday, November 18th. And with that said, I will now hand it over to Dave.
Thanks, Yvonne. Find my slideshow.
And while Dave pulls that up, just wanted to remind everyone again, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and use that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen.
Okay, are we full screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Dave Karwoski, Director of Mobility Planning and Traffic Systems. I'm going to provide a few updates about several important strategic initiatives that are a current focus for E&T. First, however, I'm going to talk about soup, the soup we swim in, so to speak, or more formally, I'm going to provide some situational awareness, where we are and why we're here. You may have seen the recent news regarding UCLA's ranking. For several years in a row, we're the #1 public university in the country. This year tied with UC Berkeley, our sister campus. Beyond that, UCLA Health has its own high stature, being a top 5 hospital. UCLA faculty and researchers over the years have discovered and innovated a lot of things, including discovering the black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy and helping to invent the internet. Campus itself is beautiful. It's a great place to work and is certainly admired, especially on Parents' Day or Parents' Weekend. And UCLA, even the term, you tell somebody you work at UCLA, it's usually met with very positive response. Lastly, UCLA's mission of education, research, and civic engagement reflect its public status. We are a public university after all. Now let's go back to near the beginning. In 1936, 7 years after the Westwood campus was built, what do we see? Well, you've got Royce Hall, the Powell Library, the Student Activity Center, and Kirchhoff Hall. But what else do you see? In fact, there are many, many of them in this photo. They're cars, all the way back in 1937. So at some point, the campus realized they needed people to manage the cars and all the parking. Now, over the years, UCLA has grown substantially. Here we see the campus in 1965. You can see that the east side of campus is pretty well built up, but here's Westwood Boulevard, which actually at that time went all the way through to Sunset Boulevard. The west side of campus, there wasn't much built up, and you can see on the hill, just a handful of residence halls. By 2021, UCLA had grown to become the 3rd or 4th largest employer in LA County. I used to say it was a small city, but I no longer say that. We're really a medium city with a daily population of upwards of 84,000 people. We have over 21 million square feet of built space, all on a very small campus. In fact, the smallest UC campus in the system. So this medium-sized city, the trains need to run on time and the gears need to move, and somebody needs to do this work. Well, at UCLA, who does this work? It's UCLA administration. E&T is part of UCLA administration, and we support the campus community while it pursues the overall university mission like the rest of UCLA administration. Now, like almost all institutional bodies, UCLA administration has a vision, a mission, and we also have strategic themes that are more meeting of the times that we're in, including COVID and I'll call it post-COVID. Nothing surprising here, but I thought it useful at the beginning of the academic year to bring these up and make sure that we're all aware of what's what. Also, UCLA administration has a strategic plan with strategic goals. And these goals focus on improving the customer experience, reducing administrative burden, sustainability, safety, building a high-performing workforce, and reducing institutional costs. What's important is that we realize that events and transportation, our goals cascade from administration's goals in their strategic plan. Now, we are service-based. We assist with events and transport needs. For business processes, we focus on how we run our operations and programs. Workforce capabilities, we recognize that our team is our primary asset. And financial stewardship, we are a self-funded auxiliary. So we're almost entirely funded by parking revenue with some additions from charter buses and some other things. Now, I'm going to run through updates for 5 of our strategic initiatives that connect directly to the administration's strategic plan. You may wonder which goal each initiative is tied to, but often the initiatives tie into multiple goals. For example, EV chargers. This touches upon customer service, sustainability, and financial stewardship as we pursue grants to fund the chargers. Now, we've doubled the number of EVs on campus since 2019, excuse me, and we may now have more EVs on campus than any other university in the country. Parking assets team is hard at work, guiding the installation of EV chargers in 5 parking structures, peanut butter spread across campus. Here you can see PS9, parking structure 2, parking structure 5, parking structure 4, parking structure 1. And within several months, we expect 218 more EV charging points to be installed on campus. Our second update is about motor pool. So motor pool is, we've recognized that a lot of university vehicles are what you'd call underutilized. Geology may have a car that they drive 200 miles a month. That is not efficient. So we're going to a shared use model in large part, and we're looking to streamline services and increase customer service. Now for implementation, some updates. There's a new partnership with Club Sports, Parking Structure 4, merging their vehicles into the shared use motor pool. Low-speed vehicles, essentially electric golf carts, are also now available, and I'm sure they'll be quite popular. Our third initiative update is about the Purple Line subway extension, and we're currently going through a Westwood bus study, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I thought you might enjoy some photos of the construction. Here you see this is the station box, as they call it. This is the La Brea station a bit east, but it is very similar to what the Westwood station will look like. The photo on the right, you can see the scale of the tunnels. You see the one tunnel, and you have two tunnels, one for the train in each direction. And you see the workers, and you get a sense that this is very large construction. Now on Monday, I took this photograph. I know that many of you are working remotely and may not have seen Lot 36 in quite a while. Here is a portion of Lot 36 that has become a metro temporary construction laydown area, and also the permanent station area here in the very southeast corner of Lot 36. You can see the decking, some of the decking on Wilshire Boulevard, which is responsible for the weekend closures. For the westbound, there's a westbound detour from Westwood Boulevard around to Veteran, and that'll run through Thanksgiving. You can also see literally the big hole in the ground that will be the future elevator and escalator access points to the station, which is largely under the westbound side of Wilshire Boulevard. Now, regarding the bus study, what we're doing is two things. We're looking at shifting buses off Westwood Boulevard. Most of the bus traffic coming into Westwood Village goes on Westwood Boulevard, and we're looking at spreading that to Gailey and Hillgard to try to even it out and lighten the load for Westwood and increase its livability. We're also looking at creating a bus hub in Lot 36 in the southwest corner for future interface with the Purple Line station to make that more efficient and also better service for our customers. Our next strategic initiative update is about seismic repairs. Now, all the buildings on campus have a seismic rating, and they are reviewed, including our parking structures. Parking structure 18, as we know, has some structural problems and issues, and we were looking at repairing the structure and getting that back into service in the portion of it that is currently not in service. But this past budget cycle for the state of California, the state has provided $200 million for an immunology center to be located at UCLA. And the likely landing spot for this center may be on PS 18, or also known as old CHS parking structure. So right now, this is on hold until we get a sense of the timing of when the building will be built and exactly where it will land. Now, my last strategic initiative update regards data. And data, we all know that data is important. It's become an asset. And we have tons and tons of data. And it helps with the three things, the 3 bullet points you see here. Essentially, it's the watch that tells us what time it is, but data in and of itself has only limited value. However, if you curate and analyze this data, you drive and generate knowledge, which is much more powerful and valuable. In that regard, E&T this past March created an analytics team. You can read their mission statement here. And so far, in the few months that they've existed, they've started regular meetings with each unit. They're piloting several dashboards, promulgating a monthly newsletter, and they've worked on and completed several analysis and automation projects, looking at carpool approvals, permit privilege visualization, and basketball revenue analysis. This completes my update for today, and I'm now going to hand it off to Mr. Clinton Bench. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And hello, everyone. Clinton Bench, Director of Fleet and Transit. I know we have a number of new team members that have joined us, so welcome to all those that are new, and I look forward to having a chance to meet you if I haven't already. There. making sure my buttons work. I'm going to give a little overview of E&T operations for the fall. Not just fleet and transit, but other operations within E&T as well. But I'll start with the things I'm personally most familiar with, fleet first. So with respect to fleet operations, a lot of excitement around new electric vehicles being made available. In particular in the van, full-size van and pickup truck categories where we haven't seen them before. So you'll start seeing some of those show up on campus pretty soon. Additional electric buses are on the way. We've gone ahead and placed our order for the next 2. And of course, all of this means that it's more important than ever that we team with parking asset management, which we are as one single E&T charging development team to install charging clusters around campus that are smart and able to distribute power based on need and also based on priority. We're going to be starting with parking structure 4, doing a small pilot there. Hopefully by the end of this year, if not, right around the beginning of next year. Also in fleet, some exciting changes as we're shifting our primary vendor for vehicle parts. And they'll be also able to look at our work orders and such and do some sort of automated anticipation of the parts that we'll need based on the preventative maintenance that we're planning on doing. So exciting stuff happening there. Moving over to transit, all of our regular fixed routes are back in operation. We call them the U1 through U8. The U1, 2, 3, and 4 are the ones that are most highly utilized and operate on all of our weekdays. Mostly bringing folks from our graduate student housing and also south of Wilshire up into campus, but also providing connectivity for staff and faculty as well, who may be transferring from other transit services. Also getting our demand responsive services started back up. Both UCLA Safe Ride, which is an evening safety shuttle, runs Monday through Thursday, by the way, available also to staff from 7 p.m. to midnight. You can request a ride on the UCLA mobile app. And Bruin Access, which operates from 7 a.m. to midnight on all weekdays and provides service to those with permanent or temporary physical disabilities. So we've also installed new automatic passenger counters that will relieve our drivers of having to do manual counts. And I just want to give a shout out to all the team members of Defense and Transportation who did such a great job with managing traffic during Residence Hall move-in and helping manage our shuttles moving back and forth between parking structures and the Hill. Great job to everyone. And the same goes with our continuing efforts on Router Bus. Let me shift over to commuter and parking services then quickly. A number of things happening. I'll try and move through them quickly with parking enforcement. Again, team effort is needed as men's basketball season starts up. Folks are encouraged to help out with traffic management and observing parking structures as our Bruins begin their new season. We're transitioning to a new term for parking enforcement officers, calling them parking enforcement specialists as well, just to improve community engagement. And this is also part of a broader effort to make sure that it's clear that police officers have their duties and help provide public safety, but there are many other specialists throughout campus that also are involved in public safety, and just clarifying what their titles are. New wayfinding pilots are underway with respect to our parking structures off-site and also at Valet at the medical center. Citation review and adjudication, working mostly online now, and also streamlining their appeals process by adding email communications to inform customers about the results of their appeals. And also for those pesky parking boots that sometimes get placed on vehicles to disable them because of lack of payment of citations. Some new procedures are being developed for the release of those locks. With respect to administration, Learn at Lunch continues. Please, everyone, think about what you can share in terms of some of your expertise at a future Learn at Lunch. And I'm really excited too about this unified student recruitment campaign that Events and Transportation is doing, where students can use just one single application form and they can express interest in a whole host of different job opportunities. A reminder too, and you'll hear more about this, our lobby reopening soon. There's a Salesforce knowledge base being developed as well by our customer care team that will help customers answer some of their own questions online on our website with their own sort of, with our own internal search mechanism. Parking assets, of course, as I mentioned before, working hard on expanding charging opportunities, not just for fleet vehicles, but also for permit holders and other continued construction projects that Dave mentioned. And finally, with respect to the events office, they're currently working out of the flex work area at Strathmore, but they're going to be taking over the new space next to the E&T customer lobby, giving them some better visibility. That'll happen in about 6 months. And as you probably also heard, new event manager position is also going to be posted soon. So thank you everyone for the time and hearing about operations. I apologize for any background noise. I'm at a conference right now, but really glad that I could join you. I'm going to hand over the podium to Zulema, I think, right? I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Clinton. Good morning. My name is Zulema Hernandez, and I work as a strategic project manager with the Parking Assets Unit. Okay, so I'll get started with parking structure and lot repairs. We are currently working with DPM, the Department of Project Management, to make the necessary structural repairs in parking structure 2. This includes the waterproofing of the top level, level 7, which will help prevent the intrusion of water, which can cause corrosion on the levels below. Work is set to begin in the near future. Work is currently underway in parking structure 8 to remove and replace all of the metal slabs on levels 2 and 3. As you can see in the before picture, the current metal slabs are lifting, which has created a trip hazard for pedestrians. The metal slabs are being replaced with a wider piece of metal, which covers the joint from one side to the other, while still allowing for flexibility. In lot 36, new asphalt will be poured and restriping will also take place. This work is expected to be completed in the near future. Okay, moving on to tenant improvement projects. If you have been on campus recently, you may have noticed a few of the changes which have taken place around our office space in the Strathmore building. Most noticeably, the interior hallways have been painted and new flooring has been added in various areas. A mural has also been added in the 130 office space. The mural includes pictures from across the campus, parking structures, and other campus landmarks like the Bruin Bear. The central administration area has also been completed and is now in use. The flex space off of the Strathmore entrance is also ready for use and is available on a first come, first served basis. This flex space also includes a lounge and library area. Please feel free to enjoy the space. As a reminder, if you are working on campus and need a quiet space for a meeting or a call, reservations for private workspaces can also be made through Outlook. Lastly, if you're on campus and would like to take an in-person look at all of the changes that have taken place, please feel free to walk around or ask our team if you have any questions. And with that, I will hand it over to Robin Bell.
Hey everyone, I can't believe it's been 3 months since the last time we saw each other. Definitely a fast summer. So I want to make sure everybody is on board and understanding all of the amazing things that some of our employees have been doing this past summer. So I want to share with you our Employee of the Month recipients. So just in case you missed that in our E&T news bulletin, maybe on our intranet, or on our TVs, I'm here to share them with you. So let's get to it. Or not. Hold on one sec. Just joking. Hold on one sec. Pulled up the wrong one. This is part of team building and, all that sort of fun stuff. So, our icebreaker. Anyway, so let's get started. So let's kick it off with our Employee of the Month recipients. We have Yolanda Luna from our parking enforcement team. She is our May Employee of the Month recipient, along with Jennifer Belda from Commuter and Parking Services. We also have Lynn Ryder representing our assets team and Magali De Los Santos from finance. So they were our June Employee of the Month recipients. For July, we have Elizabeth Portillo Limas from our valet team and Ashley Salcedo representing Commuter and Parking Services. So those were our 6 Career Staff Employee of the Month recipients. So let's give them all a high five or a round of applause for all of their hard work and dedication. Also, we want to highlight our Student Employee of the Month recipients. So they are definitely the backbone of our organization and doing amazing things out there. So for the month of May, we have Anya Benegas, and she is from our Commuter and Parking Services team. We also have Jessica Williams, who is representing the month of June from our valet team, and Jaya Pareja from Commuter and Parking Services, who closed out our summer for the month of July. We are currently collecting nominations and in the final stages to identify who our August Employee of the Month recipients will be. So again, keep an eye out on those E&T news bulletins and our intranet, because we will be sharing that with you early next week. So we'll keep you on the edge of your seat until then. So since this summer has gone by so fast, it's been really hard to connect in person at times. So we thought it would be a great idea to connect and ask some questions that might share some fun facts about what you've been doing this summer or tips on how to beat the heat. So what I would like everybody to do is utilize the chat feature as we get to know each other. So the first question is, how did you stay cool during the heat wave? So that summer heat wave that literally, I think I melted into a chair on. So if everybody can take a moment to utilize the chat feature and share their thoughts and ideas, that would be great.
Can the regular audience members?
Yeah, they've always been able to. They've always been able to.
Yeah,
I think the chat feature is off.
Okay, let's take a look at that.
We can do it in Q&A.
We could do it in Q&A.
Let's do it in Q&A.
Okay, cool. See, we just bob and weave here, people. So how did you stay cool? Did you, lay in a ice bucket? What did you do? Sorry, thanks for bearing with us, people. Okay, and good tips, because this weekend it's going to be warm as well. So it looks like suns are coming up. Tyler went to the beach and swam in the cool waves. Awesome, awesome. Tom, fantasy football week. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, fantasy football is here for sure. Popsicles using limes from my lime tree. Oh, Emily, you're going to have to bring some of those in. I don't know how you'll do it, but yeah, lots of good stuff coming in. Very, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, so everybody take some of these tips and tricks and tools, so that way when we're trying to figure out how to beat the heat this weekend, we have a general idea on how to do that. How about summer vacation? I know I didn't go anywhere too exciting, but what about all of you? Did anyone hit a plane, train, or automobile and hit the road? Let's see. Ooh, went to Maui, Bo. That was on my list this summer. Just didn't make it happen. Awesome. Nice. Geo traveled. How did you travel, Geo? Plane, train? Awesome. Okay, South Africa. Oh my gosh. Marisol, Austria, Slovakia. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to take some notes from you. Thank you for sharing that. That is great. Let's see. Let's go to another question here. Let's see. How about, what is your favorite NFL football team? Who are my football fans? And I said NFL, so we're talking about the one where you throw the football, not kick it. The Rams, the good old LA Rams. That's awesome. Puerto Vallarta, looks like we have some mixed ones in here. Miami Dolphins. Oh, nice, Aaron. Anybody else out there? All right. Things are getting crazy over here. Okay, let's go to our final question and then I'll kick it over to Steve. How do you make the world a better place? So how do you inspire kindness, whether it's at work, maybe with people you know, friends, family, maybe people you don't know. So how do you inspire kindness and you know, really make an impact on making the world a better place? All right. Anybody? We're still working on it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard one. Live, laugh, love. I kind of try to sometimes just take things in stride, you know, just go with the flow and make sure that I'm being the best that I possibly can. Buy someone a beer. Well, cheers to that, Tom. Maybe we'll all meet at Barney's later this afternoon.
Also, because we're using the Q&A function, Robin, if someone responded to someone else's answer, you can then find it in the answered sections of the FAQs.
Yeah, and I noticed it was great. I hope I didn't make anyone dizzy. As I was trying to scroll up and down on the Q&A, I was advancing my slides. So it all got a little wacky, but you know, hey, it just adds to the flavor of doing things live. So anyways, well, thanks for everyone's participation. I hope you learned some great tips and tools from other colleagues. Now I'm going to kick it over to Steve Wang for some Q&A.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Robin. And yeah, I like how we bob and weave and adjust. You know, it's the brave new world we're in. There's always some setting we have to figure out, right? As we learned over the last day or so. And then I'm sorry if I deleted someone's answer real quick. I think maybe Kimberly's football teams didn't get a good enough shout out because I was dismissing things left and right. But as far as the Q&A goes, if people will look, there were definitely some good questions that were already answered earlier. Some regarding accommodating solar vehicles, the reposting of the executive director position later on. And there was a question about South Bay, potential for South Bay public transit, like from Torrance or Gardena. As far as the open questions, there's only really one here, I think Lisa would like to tackle. And I think this was Dave W's way of reminding us to maybe give some updates on Structure 18 and how things are going there. So Lisa, did you want to provide some news here?
Yes, actually, Dave did mention this, but it was very glossed over in the midst of lots of other things he updated on. So Structure 18, for those of you who don't remember, is the structure over by Jules Stein and the School of Medicine. It did have basically a catastrophic failure. Gosh, going on 3 years now, I think ago. I think we found out about it either in December 2019 or January 2020. Anyway, time just flies. We did do some emergency repairs, and then we reached the place where it was considered no longer an emergency by not us, other people on campus. So we had to pause and go out to bid. And during the pause, lots of things happened, including the fact that the campus has a big donor and a considerable amount of money from the state of California to create a new immunology school or immunology center. And it is going on the site of Structure 18. But because of the timing of when it's going on the site of Structure 18, we're still in conversations about whether we're going to repair or just demolish. A decision will be made within the next week or two. I believe that we are probably going to go forward with the repair because I believe that the immunology center, just because of the nature of building on this campus and some long-range development and ERR and environmental impact report activities that have to happen, the start of construction is so far out that it's going to be worth doing the repair, but we do not know that for sure, but we should know within the next week or two. I hope that answered the question.
All right, thank you, Lisa. That actually was the only open question at this time. So we have finished 8 minutes early. I'm going to give people maybe like 10 seconds if they've been a little too shy to submit a question one last time. Otherwise, I did want to thank everyone for coming and listening and submitting their questions. Thank you to all the panelists for presenting and for answering questions. And Gina and Robin, as always, for herding all of us cats and facilitating us today. So that being said, I don't see any other Q&A questions. We will go ahead and I guess wrap this up and end the recording. Okay, Gina?
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. And thank you to everyone for participating. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.